Good evening. I'm Gino Gosnell. I'm here with Miss Karessa. She is on the Invasion leadership team as well with myself, and just a mighty woman of God. And I'm just going to ask her a couple of questions, allow her to share what Invasion means to her and what she enjoys about it.
Well, Pastor Gino, that's a loaded question. Invasion means a lot to me. When I first started coming to Invasion about 2.5 or 3 years ago, I was just really broken, and had done my share of ministry, had been on different teams, done a lot, and ended up as a really broken person. And so when I first started coming, I just came and soaked. There were many times where I just came and laid on the floor and just worshiped. So it was a place of freedom. It was a place of restoration. It was a place where the Lord just really began to clean me out of all the things that had happened and the things I'd seen and the things that I had done even to myself to have gotten me to where I was at. And it was just a place of healing. So that in itself is just a testimony of the goodness of the Lord and how He shows up here. And what I like best about it, wow. I love that the Lord is here and that there's just a purity in the house. There is a corporate pull on the Lord, a corporate desire and a hunger for the Lord. And the promise of the kingdom is that blessed are they who hunger and thirst, that we will be filled, and He fills us here. I can honestly say that there has not been a Thursday that I've been to Invasion and not left feeling full of what the Lord had for me at that time. So,
At the same time, not only are we filled, but at the same time we're challenged by the Word. Pastor Carol brings a message each week that God puts on her heart, and some of them are correcting, some of them are just more insight and teaching, but sometimes we're challenged. And I know recently we were challenged to look at each day and look at each moment and try to figure out what is our assignment, who are we assigned to. And I know during that time, Ms. Karessa had the opportunity to experience in her personal life that assignment, and I'm going to let her explain what the Lord did in her life.
Yeah, so what happened recently in the past week, or as Gino mentioned, Pastor Carol has mentioned to us that God, He wants to reveal Himself, and the way that He reveals Himself is through us. And there's an opportunity in every moment, in every person that you pass by, there's always an opportunity to bring forth the kingdom. And so this week I had an opportunity, and Pastor Carol has spoken a lot to us about recognizing that assignment. I actually was with a friend that I hadn't spent much time with, and after we got finished catching up, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great, all this stuff. The Lord just prompted me to ask her, so what are you believing for? And it was really a simple question. It wasn't that's not something I normally would have asked her. But I said, what are you believing for God to do for you in this season? And she stopped and she said, honestly, Karessa, there's a huge need in my family. And she just went on to talk about just huge things. She has one brother that's had a stroke, another brother who's been given a very poor prognosis that if he doesn't have a certain, these people are under the age of 30, but that if he doesn't have a certain heart surgery, that he probably won't live to be 30 within the next 2 years. Another one who just doesn't know the Lord, and her parents are on the verge of getting a divorce. In fact, as her mother was in the hospital this week with the brother who had a stroke, she had an apartment lined up, and her parents have just been struggling for the past so many months, nearly a year now. And so the prognosis for their relationship was that there would be a divorce or a separation pending very soon. So that night, I just prayed simply. I just began to pray and ask the Lord to just move in His power and to come in. And the awesome thing about God, which is what Pastor Carol has been teaching us, it's not us. We don't have to be anything special. We don't have to be anything great. We just have to be tools in the hands of the Lord. So I began to pray, prayed just for a few minutes, and then when it was over, we each went home. Well, I received a text the next morning, and God is quick, He's fast, He's on time. And she said, I just want to tell you this update. And she said, my parents came home yesterday after we prayed, and this is after months of turmoil in a relationship. And she said, my parents they decided, my mother has canceled her apartment arrangements. She's
God's here, and He is doing mighty things, not only in this house, but in personal lives. So will you come join us and be with us next week at Invasion? Thank you.